Hello and welcome to your next practice. So today we're going to visit or revisit the Sun Salutation with mantra. So this is a moving meditation. You'll get completely absorbed by the sound, the drone, the mantra itself, and the movement becomes a free flow, a dance across the mat. I'll be with you from beginning to end, naming the postures, but it's up to you to feel the rhythm and just really flow with that sense of moving meditation. If you haven't done it before, it's 12 postures done leading with the right leg, 12 postures done leading with the left leg to create one round of Surya Namaskar or Sun Salutation. And each posture has a mantra associated with it. So we're going to start in Dandasana today. This means that we're sitting with the legs extended out in front, hip distance apart. So from the hip point to the center of the knee, to the center of the foot, second toe pointing up at the ceiling. Notice your habits. If the big toes are closer or if the little toes are closer to you, notice those habits and try to be quite neutral. If you want to find the sit bones, move the flesh of the buttocks out to the side and sit nice and tall so you're on the front edge of the sitting bones. You might want to sit on a block for this. You could put your hands down beside you with the heel of the hand beside the hip, but for some of us we'll tend to put all the weight into the arms and almost turn off the abdominals and the core, which is what we're trying to activate. So let's instead put the hands on the knees. If you feel like if your arms are longer than your torso and your arms are doing the work, just put your hands on your knees and then feel like your spine just grew 2 inches up towards the ceiling, like your ears are being gently drawn up by a magnet. The chin is perpendicular to the breastbone and parallel to the ground. We're going to hold here for 5 complete yogic breaths. So exhale fully and completely. Then inhale. Swell the belly and the lower back, rib cage in all directions. Collarbones, armpits, shoulder blades expand. And then exhaling, the collarbones sink, the breastbone sinks, the rib cage sinks, the belly button pulls back to the spine. Inhale. Lower belly, lower back, rib cage in all directions, collarbones, breastbone, shoulder blades. Exhale, collarbones sink, breastbone sinks, rib cage draws inwards, belly button pulls back. 3 more breaths like that in your own fashion, your own timing. Whenever you've completed your own 3 breaths, you can gently blink open the eyes. And then just reassess the seat that you're in. Are you still tall? Do you still have the shoulders stacked above the ribs and the ribs stacked above the pelvis? Then we're going to begin to move the feet. So if you haven't put the hands on the knees, I'd put them on the knees now. It helps you just feel that the legs are engaged. So feel like you're pulling the kneecaps slightly upwards. Feel that you're engaging. It's a co-contraction is what I like to call it. The muscles engage. So front of the thigh, back of the thigh, both sides of the thigh. Wrap in around the bone. Only about 30-40%. So it's sustainable, maintainable. Now with your next inhale, point your toes forward. And then exhale, draw the tops of the feet back towards the knees. Inhale, pointing the foot. Exhale, flexing at the ankle joint. Inhale, pointing the foot. Exhale, flexing. Let's do 2 more like that. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex, point, and flex. Great. Now we'll rotate the ankles. So this is where the hands on the knees is handy, because you don't want to let the legs go along for the ride. So find some stability in the legs and rotate the feet as much as you can so that you're getting the full range of motion that you can get out of your ankle joint. We'll do 2 more in this direction. And then we'll change direction and circle the other way. And then come back to stillness. Keep your left leg quite active. Let's bend the right knee, interlace the fingers behind the right thigh. Draw the right knee in towards the chest and lengthen through your spine. So it's like your shoulder blades are sinking down the back. There's more space between your shoulders and your ears, and you're lifting your breastbone towards the top of your knee. Flex your foot again. We'll move into our knee extension. So with your next inhale, lengthen your leg only so far that you're not trembling or shaking. And then with your exhale, squeeze your heel back in towards your buttock. Lengthen and squeeze. Lengthen and bend the knee. 2 more. Lengthen and bend the knee. Last one. Lengthen and bend the knee. And then we'll move into a knee rotation. So we're circling the heel like you're drawing a big circle in the air. On the inward part, point your foot inwards. On the outward part, point your foot outwards. So there's a little rotation of your shin bones as well. Let's do 2 more in this direction. And then change direction. So the toes are pointing out on the outer part of the circle. The toes are pointing in on the inward part of the circle, or the medial one, closer to your midline. Let's do just 2 more. Then a very simple hip rotation. So left hand will hold your right heel. Draw your right heel over towards your left hip crease, right hand on the right knee, and the right knee will sweep towards the left knee, circle out to the side and back up towards the chest. Left leg is still active. If you've left it go a little bit lax, then you can bring back your attention to it. And again, we're trying to keep the pelvis as still as possible so that you're really feeling into the hip joint itself, creating a rotation. Your leg most of the work, so the hands are just there to be gentle guides. The next time the knee comes back up towards the chest, change direction. And then give your knee a little hug, squeeze it towards your chest, maybe lengthen your spine some more. And then we'll straighten out the right leg, and the left leg will have its go. So bend your knee, interlace your fingers, hug that knee in towards the chest, grow. Lengthen your spine. Knee extension. You might inhale as you lengthen and exhale as you bend. Then we're going to move into our knee rotation, knee rotation, circling. So remember, on the outward part of the circle, the toes point outwards. On the inward part of the circle, the foot and the toes point inwards. 2 more in this direction. And then change direction. And then we'll move into our hip rotation. So right hand will take the left heel over towards the outer side of the thigh. Left hand is resting on left knee. So the left knee sweeps towards the right knee, circles out to the side, and we create a circular pattern for the femur, the head of the femur in the hip joint itself. Femur being your thigh bone. And feel into that range of movement. You know, if you're feeling any compression or a point where it just doesn't feel right, then honor that. Make a smaller circle. Your body is your body. It doesn't matter how big or small your circle is, as long as you're exploring your range of motion. Let's do 2 more in this direction. And then hug your knee in towards your chest, lengthen a wee bit. And straighten out your leg. Okay, we'll come into a cross-legged position. So Sukhasana, easy sitting pose. The ankles are out underneath the knees. The shins are crossed. Again, if you want to rock a little side to side and find the front edge of the sitting bones. And then again, as always, We're letting the spine get longer, axial elongation. The shoulders are stacked above the rib cage. The front ribs are pulled back to line up with the front of the pelvis to find neutrality. And then we'll just warm up the upper body. So let's start with the arms. Reach out your left arm and have your wrist in line with your shoulder. And then feel like you're pressing down into an invisible resistance. And then we're going to bring the fingertips up towards the ceiling. So we've put the hand into an extension, or the wrist into an extension. And then with our other hand, so the right hand, we're going to just help it back into an assisted stretch. And we're going to hold that assisted stretch for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we're going to maintain that stretch actively. So it's an active stretch. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now take the thumb to the center of the palm, wrap the fingers around. Pull your fist down towards the earth, and again be really active for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then straighten at the wrist joint and make wrist rotations. Change direction. And back to stillness. Great. So put that hand down, and then we'll reach out the right hand and we'll do the same thing. So extend. We're going to assist that stretch by using the left hand to pull back a wee bit, and then hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Maintain it actively. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thumb comes to the center of the palm. Fingers wrap around. Bring the fist down towards the earth. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straighten at the wrist joint. Wrist rotation. Change direction. Okay, rest. Okay, this time I'm going to turn around to show you. The arms will come out to the side, and then the palms will face up towards the ceiling. So the arms are at shoulder height. With your next exhale, we'll bend at the wrist joint and point the fingers up. And then continue by bending at the elbow joint until your fingers meet your shoulders. And when the fingers meet the shoulders, we're going to sweep the elbows forward into 3 shoulder rolls. 1, 2, 3. Bring the elbows back out to the side. Keep the wrist bent, but straighten the elbows. Then straighten the wrist, and then bring your fingers down towards the floor. And then again, bend at the wrist, then bend at the elbow and take the hands to the shoulders. And this time you're going to sweep the elbows back. So 1, 2, 3. Put the elbows back in line with the shoulders. Straighten first the elbow, straighten then the wrist, and then point the fingers down towards the earth. Great. Relax all the way back down. Beautiful. Interlace your fingers down to the webbing. Take your little finger underneath the base of your skull. Point your elbows forward. Lengthen a little through your spine. Head rotations, nice and safe, with the hands stopping you going into too much of an extension. And it's a little massage for the back of the neck. Fingers in underneath the base of the skull. Change direction. And release your arms all the way back down. Change the cross of your legs so that the opposite leg is in front. So this might feel a little bit more awkward. Maybe you need to prop yourself up onto a block on this side. That's absolutely fine. So from here, we're going to take a rotation and some movement into our hips. So first, we're going to do a very simple torso rotation. So hands on your knees, lean forward slightly. Let's start moving over to your right. So we just begin to circle the body. So it's like you're circling your shoulders around your hips, and there is no great deal of alignment here. You're just allowing yourself to be open. So there's a bit of kind of compression as you lean forward for the visceral organs in the abdominal cavity. And then there's openness and spaciousness as you lean back. So they would say in yoga that this is really good for your digestive system. This almost like a massage. It's very, very good for the glutes as well, because you are literally massaging the glutes off the ground, and our glutes do a lot of work to, stabilize and hold us up. Next time you come forward, I can get lost in this one, so it's good that I remembered to move on. We'll circle the other direction. I find this really, really nice. Continue to circle, maybe 3 more times. And then replace your shoulders above your hips. We're going to take the hands behind the head with the fingers interlaced down to the webbing. Press your head back into your hands a wee bit and draw the elbows out to the side so you can still see your elbows in your periphery vision. Then we're going to rotate to the right hand side, so your right, and you will do 3 little pulses with an exhale through your nose. Let me just show you the first one. So the pelvis is quite stable. You might feel a 30% lift in your pelvic floor to maintain that pelvic stability. Lower belly is also quite active. And then we'll rotate to the right. I'll just show you. And back to center. And to the left. And back to center. So what could go wrong is that you're, tipping over to the side, or you're leaning to one side. So everything bar the rotation from the waist is very solid and stable, so that we're learning to rotate the waist a little bit better. Okay, so ready to join me? We're going to do 3 rounds. So 3 pulses to the right, 3 pulses to the left, 3 times. Let's do it together. So let's pulse to the right, to center, to the left, to center, to the right, to center, to the left, to center, to the right, to center. 1 more time, left, to center. Beautiful. Release your arms down. A little bit of side bending. So right hand a good deal away from your right hip, left arm up beside your left ear, and then just lean over to the right, but feel like your left hip is dropping down, so that you continue to get a lovely stretch from your hip to your armpit, to your middle finger, and then float back up, and we'll do the other side. So right arm comes up and we lean over to the left and come back up. Right arm goes down, left arm comes up, lean over to your right. Side bending, lateral flexion. Left hand goes down, right arm comes up, lean over. Come back up. 1 more time to the right. Come back up. 1 more time to your left. Come back up. Beautiful. Okay, sweep to all 4s, please. Coming to all 4s, knees underneath the hips, tops of the feet on the floor, wrists underneath the shoulders. We'll go straight to a downward dog. Curl your toes under, lift your knees, press your chest and belly back towards your thighs. Little walk. 1 heel touches down, other heel touches down. Walk the dog, as they say. And then look forward between your hands and just take little baby steps. You might want to come up onto your fingertips to come to the top of the mat. Feet hip distance apart, second toe pointing straight forward. Center the knee in line with the center of the foot. Then sweep your hands out to the side and up. Extended Tadasana. And so when I say extended Tadasana today, we'll keep the pelvis level, we'll keep the rib cage down, and we'll just have this straight line position. Sometimes in extended Tadasana, we go into a back bend. We're just going to keep it in a neutral spine for today's practice. Take your hands down in front of your heart in prayer. So if you need to, check in with your posture. Maybe you might forward tilt the pelvis and backward tilt the pelvis, maybe 2 or 3 times, and then find your neutral position. Feel that grip of the feet on the floor. Feel your shoulders sinking away from the ears. Feel your spine getting a little taller. And the hands above the heart in prayer is our very first posture. Second posture is that extended Tadasana. Sweep your arms out to the side and up. Frame your ears with your upper arms. Touch your hands into prayer. Trace the midline as you fold forward and down into our third posture, standing forward bend. Step your right leg back into a low lunge, knee meets the floor. Stepping back into downward dog. Knees, chest, chin is our sixth posture. You can modify if you need to. Sweeping the belly onto the ground, the pubic bone onto the ground, lifting into cobra. Back into downward dog for the eighth posture. And then the right foot steps forward and we find low lunge, left knee meets the floor. Then left foot steps forward beside the right foot, standing forward bend. Reach for the ceiling, extended Tadasana. Hands into prayer above the heart. As you start, you finish the 12th posture. That is one half of a round complete. Hands in front of the heart, posture 1. Extended Tadasana, posture 2. Standing forward bend, posture 3. Stepping left leg back, low lunge. Right leg goes back to downward dog. Knees, chest, chin, or maybe just hanging out in cow and cat. Taking cobra, shoulders away from the ears. Downward dog. Left foot steps forward, low lunge. Right foot joins it, standing forward bend. Reach for the ceiling, extended Tadasana. Hands in front of the heart. One round complete. Starting with the hands in front of the heart. Extend the arms to the ceiling. Folding down towards the earth, standing forward bend. Right leg back, low lunge. Left leg back, downward dog. Knees, chest and chin, Surya Namaskar. Cobra. Downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward, low lunge. Left hip joins at standing forward bend. Extend to ceiling. Hands in front of the heart in prayer. Hands in prayer. Extend to ceiling. Forward, forward and down. Left leg back to lunge. Downward facing dog. Knees, chest and chin. Over. Downward dog. Left leg to lunge. Right leg joins it, standing forward bend. Reach for the ceiling, extend it to last leg. Hands in front of the heart in prayer. 2 rounds complete. Hands in front of the heart. Extend. Standing forward bend. Right leg back lunge. Downward dog. Knees, chest, chin. Cobra. Downward dog. Right leg to lunge. Left leg, top of the mat. Extend to ceiling. Hands to the heart in prayer. Hands over the heart in prayer. Extend to the ceiling. Standing forward bend. Left leg back lunge. Right leg back downward dog. Knees, chest and chin. Cobra. Downward dog. Left leg forward lunge. Right leg joins it, standing forward bend. Reach for the ceiling. Hands to your heart in prayer. Over the heart in prayer. Extended Tadasana. Standing forward bend. Right leg back, low lunge. Left leg back, downward dog. Knees, chest and chin. Cobra. Downward dog. Right leg finds lunge. Left leg standing forward bend. Extend to ceiling. Hands to the heart in prayer. Hands over the heart. Both forward and down. Step left leg back to lunge. Right leg goes back to downward dog. Knees, chest and chin. Cobra. Downward dog. Left foot to lunge. Right leg steps forward. Down to the ceiling. Hands over the heart in prayer. Back low lunge. Left leg back, downward dog. Knees, chest and chin. Dog. Right foot to low lunge. Left foot to standing forward bend. Stand to ceiling. Left leg back, low lunge. Downward dog. Knees, chest and chin. Dog. Left foot to lunge. Right foot standing forward bend. Reach to ceiling. Hands over the heart in prayer. Turn to the side and step your feet out nice and wide, maybe even heel toeing, to get a little bit more length. So you have at least one leg's distance. You might even be able to have your wrists above your ankles, maybe a little tighter so that you're not hanging out on your ligaments. You don't need an end range stretch here. You just need a nice wide stance. Just like in the beginning, let the pelvis tip forward into an anterior tilt and then backward tilt into a posterior tilt. So your lower back arches, your lower back flattens, and do that maybe one more time, and then find the neutral position in between. Keep the ribs down, hands on your hips. We're going to hinge forward, so we're moving the pelvis around the top of the thigh bone, keeping the spine nice and long as if the crown of the head wants to move away from the pelvis. And then take the fingertips down onto the ground. If this is causing you to bend deeper, make sure that the fold is coming from your hip joint and not from your upper back. I want you to keep the spine as long as you possibly can. Then the right hand, your right hand, will come into the center of the mat. So I'm mirroring you. Your left hand will go on your left hip. And then we're going to point the left elbow towards the ceiling as we rotate the breastbone to the left hand side. And then maybe with your left hand, just check your pelvis. Have you lifted your left hip higher than your right hip? If so, realign the pelvis so that you could put a cup of water on your sacrum and it would not spill. It's perfectly level. And then begin to reach your left hand up towards the ceiling once you're happy with that. Reach through both arms. So it's like you're trying to move your two collarbones away from each other, broadening the space across your chest. If you want to challenge your balance even more, look towards your top thumb. Reach, reach, reach. And then slowly take your left hand back down. Left hand replaces the right hand. Right hand goes to right hip. And then we're going to point the right elbow at the ceiling as you rotate the breastbone to the right. Check that your pelvis is still level. Keep the right elbow pointing towards the ceiling. Maybe the breastbone could creep a little higher. Then the right arm reaches straight up and we open more to challenge the balance. You look towards the top thumb. Keep opening and opening and opening the chest up towards the ceiling. And then release the hand back down. A beautiful rotation for the spine. Then we're going to take a deeper forward bend. So this time the hands go down to the earth fully. So again, we've probably hinged a little further forward at the hips. Keep the spine just as long. So we're not rounding the upper back to achieve this. Keep the spine long. And it's a sit bones. So imagine that your sit bones, the bony protrusion in the lower buttock, now is one, you know, a laser pointer that you would use to annoy a cat? Or you would probably use them as a laser pointer if you were using their traditional use. But what we're going to do is imagine that our sit bones are now laser pointers, and you want to point those lasers right up to the top of the wall behind you and see how deep you can get into this forward bend without feeling like it's an end range stretch. I want you to feel in control. Slide your hands back so the heels of the hands are in line with the heels of the feet. And then from there, sit bones with the laser pointers point higher. Crown of the head feels like it wants to go closer to the floor. And this is achieved by lengthening, creating space between each and every vertebrae. Not by stretching the legs any wider. Choose to stay in the leg position that you're in. We tend to want to go deeper, open the feet wider, so we feel that we go longer. But that's actually using it's hanging out on your flexibility rather than using your mobility, and learning to use the strength in your legs and use the strength in your abdominals to take you into the deepest position you can. Keep your elbows hugging in towards each other. The hands are gripping the floor quite strongly. We're going to hold here for 5 breaths. Inhale deeply. Exhale, maybe the head goes a little closer to the floor. Inhale deeply. Exhale, maybe the head goes a little closer to the floor. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, half lift, walk your hands back out. And then we're going to go back towards the front of the mat. So it's just a swivel on the feet. So we'll be in a lunge with probably your left leg in front. Right knee goes down. Left knee goes back to where you started. And then from here, just a little cat-cow. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, round your spine. Come back to neutral. Turn yourself around. We'll lie down onto the back to finish up. So, letting the body be held by the floor in full Shavasana. Letting the body be held by the floor. For the next few moments, switch off. Allow your thoughts to become clouds passing by in the sky. You are the clear sky. Thoughts, emotions, intrusive decisions or memories passing by, they're just the weather. You are the clear sky. Thoughts, emotions, memories, to-do lists, all of these things are simply weather. Be the clear sky. Let the weather pass. Take the attention back to the body. Take the attention back to the body. Take the attention back to the body. Begin to wiggle fingers, wiggle toes. Take a nice stretch and relax your arms down. Bend your knees, roll onto one side, come up into a seated position, and we will finish the practice as always with an element of gratitude and with a prayer for peace. So please list 3 things that you are grateful for in this moment. And now, honoring peace, the peace we create in the practice, the peace that we hope to sustain until we meet our practice again, the peace we hope to filter out to every other part of our lives and those around us. Shia Kon.